I view myself as a pretty good national security expert, so I thought I'd talk about the U.S. government's stance on the Maduro kidnapping, because everyone's saying it's illegal. Even the Spanish prime minister is saying it's illegal, and I would never say that's illegal because, like, I'm a real person. Like, I think that a lot of the time everything's illegal. Like, anytime you attack a country's sovereignty or you do a preemptive strike, it's illegal because the United Nations says it's illegal. But what we would say is that, like, we all agree that there are certain laws that a person can violate in our own country and internationally that make us say that's illegal, and we can do an arrest warrant in our country. And there are countries that won't do extraditions for certain things, especially. And we all have extradition agreements, right? Because, like, that's part of international law. It would be like the agreements you make between other countries that say, like, you come to me and you say, I have an arrest warrant for that guy for murder. He fled my country and went to the United States, or went to China or Canada or wherever. Then we'd say, okay, yeah, I see you actually have a case against him. Yeah, here you go. But then China might go to us and say, like, we want to extradite him for illegal speech. And we'd say no. But, like, we can't go to Venezuela and say, like, that we want to extradite him for transporting machine guns into our country with the intention of doing war against our military or something like that. Like, we caught them importing machine guns. We can prove it. And, like, in a situation like that, like, I might not attack you, but I might kidnap someone, or I might not. But I might, like, go, okay, like, this is to that point with me that I feel that under threat that I can do that. And then I violate your sovereignty. But international law is like, I can kill you. Like, that's my actual opinion about international law, is like, I can murder you. And then you can say that's illegal in my country. And I say, in my country, we don't know anything about that because we're in charge enough. And so, like, the real international law is like, I can send my military and fight a war with you. And, like, what you're going to be, this is illegal, but that's, like, it's the law of nature. And, like, that's why I don't really believe in international law. But I do think there is such a thing as international law. We have to have international agreements. But if you think about what an actual law is, it's like, you broke the law, now you have to go to court, and now you lose your rights. You go to jail. Like I was saying in the previous video, it's okay from an American perspective to do a preemptive strike for safety reasons, for our own safety reasons. And so, like, I mean, there could be an event in which I think it's okay. Am I saying that it's okay to kidnap Maduro right now? I don't know, because clearly what it is kidnapping. Like, like from a Venezuelan perspective, like, it would clearly be kidnapping. But from our perspective, like, this guy was trafficking weapons, and, like, I mean, he clearly was working with the Barrios family, and, like, I mean, it looks like they're the Villarreals, and I would never not think it's the Villarreals. Like, I would think Barrios Villarreal. Yeah, like, those are, like, I would say, yeah, that's probably the most likely, like, what I would view as, like, the Mexican mafia, which apparently is tied to this Colombian cocaine group out of South America, and that would make sense to me. But I think clearly what's happening is that there are multiple cocaine traffickers, and one group is, like, best friends with Prince Harry. They're the polo players, you know, that, like, my twin told me to look for, like, the South American polo players, and then there's the other group who is not, like, the Jewish bankers. And so, like, what I've talked about is partnering with Venezuela. I don't like this situation, like, messing with my relationship with Venezuela, because I don't want Venezuelans to be mad at me. What I actually want to have happen is for Venezuelans to, like, not be so freaked out by this situation where they feel like they're getting conquered, and I want them to feel like they are joining, like, they're not a colony, they're actually part of the United States. But, like, the reality is, I think it takes a second to become Puerto Rico. Like, I don't think Puerto Rico, I don't think you just go, Cuba's Puerto Rico and it's Puerto Rico. Like, Puerto Rico, I think, is actually a pretty nice country. And I think Venezuela could be like as nice or even nicer than Puerto Rico, because I feel like I would end up focusing a lot of my attention on developing Venezuela versus the United States, because like I do have illegal immigrants that speak Spanish, and I do think it would be a little bit easier for me to send them somewhere where people speak Spanish, because you guys want people that speak Spanish. You don't want like people that don't speak Spanish, right? Like that's what I would think, and that's why like I mean I do think Venezuela is in charge of Venezuela, and I think the Venezuelans can own Venezuela, and I think like what matters is that we don't end up in a stupid war. And the reality is like, is international law like, if worse comes to worse, I have to go to war with Venezuela. Like no matter how, like if you're the sweetest, if just say Delcy Rodriguez is like the sweetest. What I was saying in my last video before I got cut off was Delcy Rodriguez might be like the sweetest person ever. Like you don't even understand like how wonderful she is. Like you don't even know what it's like being around Delcy, because I know Delcy like people in the United States. You don't even understand. I know the clones. And so like I know like how sweet a person is that you could end up having to be against. But the reality of international relations is like if you got to do what you got to do if you're in an emergency type situation. And I feel like sometimes the American government is putting us in an emergency situation by not explaining things to us, by not trying to cut back on oil consumption, like by not like making the right by not helping Americans understand like the reality of the world. Because in my opinion, some of them think I can just kill people. And like you don't know I'm there. I'll do like a disease or something like that. But then there are some of us that really do think we have to like level with people, and I think we have to be flexible. And what I'm trying to say is like the state of nature is pretty brutal. It's where like a baby like gets eaten by a lion. Like that's like the reality of the state of nature. It's like the toddler got torn to pieces by a bear. Yeah, like that's a state of nature. And I don't want to be the bear. I want to be the freaking badass human with the armor. And so that bear somehow like can't get through my freaking armor, like no matter how strong it is. And I've got a sword, and that bear might, or I might even just have a knife, and that bear screwed against the guy in armor. And all I'm saying is that I'm not the guy with the knife. And so it is better just to be partners with me. And I hate the way the military did this, like where it's like, well, now you're gone. But I think like as long as Venezuela is still in charge and they just took Maduro out, then I'm not that mad, because we do still have him. Like I mean, he's going to be around. Yeah, I'm sorry about the whole situation, because I really didn't do it.